Hello, everybody. This is Haley Lynn Gray with Leadership Girl, and I am so happy to be with you here tonight. I am a sales and marketing strategist and a social media expert with over 100,000 followers on social media. And my goal is to really share resources with people and be kind of a beacon of light and hopefully educate and empower people to help grow their businesses. And tonight, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and a little bit about why I am doing the Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp and why I focus on guerrilla marketing in general in my business and why I teach guerrilla marketing. First of all, I teach guerrilla marketing because I do believe that as a small business, you can spend a lot of money on advertising, but understanding the basics and the fundamentals before you start trying to invest a lot of money is really important. Because one of the things I see people do is they start building their Facebook pages, and the next thing they knew, they're doing like campaigns or they're boosting posts, and they don't know what they're trying to get, so they don't get anything. Because when you start doing things that are marketing and sales related and you don't have a clear objective for it and you don't have clear goals in mind, you're not going to get the results you're hoping for. And brand awareness, in my opinion, is a pretty lousy excuse for a reason to boost a Facebook post or to do a Facebook like campaign. Really, your goals, if you're doing Facebook ads or doing any kind of advertising campaign, should be some very clear call to action. Believe it or not, those likes on your Facebook page are naturally going to happen on their own. That's why I tell people a lot of times, back away from the boost button on your Facebook page, because it's just not going to get you the results that you're hoping for. If you have questions, please do enter them below. And I'll be happy to answer your questions. I would love to really, help address some of your issues on, what guerrilla marketing is and why you want it. The other thing I see a lot of times is that, we as entrepreneurs start trying to spend a lot of money on advertising before we focus on fundamentals. Whether it is getting good engagement before putting out Facebook ads, or we are trying to do Google AdWords before getting good search engine optimization on our website. A lot of things that we do can end up costing us a lot of money, or we'll jump straight to doing advertisements on yp.com. And I've had people ask me, well, should I do this advertising package over here? Or should I do this advertising package over there? And most of the time, the answer is really going to be no, because what I'm seeing out of numbers, I'm seeing from the research, is that conventional advertising is actually not super effective. So, we get a lot of advertising going on TV, radio, newsprint, but it really doesn't result in good ROI because our customers don't get good value out of it and they don't get good numbers out of it. So really important that you think about what you're doing when you're advertising, when you're marketing your business, so that you are getting really good ROI out of your business. Highly recommend really focusing on what your why is, how you're getting things, and being very creative with your marketing. A lot of times I see people make the mistake that they are trying to be too polished and too professional with their copy. And unfortunately, in this day and age, people want to be able to really connect with the person on the back end because they buy you before they buy your products. That's just how it works. And people have to be able to connect to you before they buy your products or services. and know that you are a real person, that you have the right credentials, that you are going to do what you say you're going to do and how you say you're going to do it. So it can be a bit intimidating to put yourself out there and really put yourself out there, because it's more than just that professional facade, but really putting your personal beliefs, your values, who you are as an entrepreneur, a business owner, and a person out there so that people can get to know you and they can buy your products and services. So, really think about who you are, what message you want to share with the world, what makes you unique, what makes you different. Me too is not a great option. Too often we try to emulate other people's styles that we think are being very successful. And the problem is that our readers, our audience can tell from a mile away if you're being less than authentic, and they can smell a rat. So when you're being less than authentic and you're being less than yourself or not being exactly who you are, people just generally smell a rat in there, and they tend to not react as well as from you. They tend to not buy from you. And it can be really, really frustrating. And the other thing that will happen too is that you'll be writing sales copy in a way that you think you should be doing it, or you'll be doing things in your business that you think you should be doing, and it's just not going to feel right. Whether it's writing sales copy that is in another person's voice, or you end up blogging and despising it because you think you ought to be blogging. Too often I see people getting into blogging, into podcasting because they think they should be doing it. I'm not sure who they are who told them to do it, but somebody told them to do it. Hi there, Krissa. Good to see you. Thank you so much. So really my focus with helping people market is figure out, who do you want your clients to be? Where are you marketing? And then how are you going to find those people? Finding that ideal client can be a little bit of a challenge because they're not always hiding in plain sight. But the moment you start to really narrow down on who that ideal client is and honing your message to that one client, it's funny, everything else kind of starts to fall into place because people start to resonate better with that. And the funny thing is that you can be advertising and you can be focusing on one client and other people are going to come in. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. My blog is Leadership Girl. 30 to 40% of my readers, according to Google Analytics, are male. My group, the Women's Entrepreneur Network, has men in it. Close to half of my clients are men. So it's not like they go running away from me, but they definitely, are not necessarily who I'm advertising towards, but they come in anyway because they recognize the value of the services that I'm offering and what I'm doing for their business. So it's a beautiful thing that happens when you start, bringing in those clients and, really focusing on that ideal client and building that connection and putting out your language to address the pain points that an ideal client has, stroking their pleasure points and addressing them as a real person. Because you can talk about, homeschoolings, homeschooling families, but you really want to talk about, a particular subset of them, because there's a lot of people that homeschool because their child has a learning disability. There are some people who homeschool because their child, is highly gifted. There are some whose kids are athletes. There are some who, yeah, absolutely, Kim. And so you have to be really specific on who that audience is and make it as narrow as possible. Yeah, you know, it's funny how that happens, Kim. Suggestions on how to drive traffic to a nonprofit public school supporting site. By the way, most of your commenters assume that you're male since it's not specified on the site. Yeah, you know, most people assume that almost any person in a leadership position is male, and it doesn't even really matter what context it's in. You're going to get that kind of bias, which is kind of funny. And I'm not sure why, but that's kind of the way it is. As far as driving traffic to your site, there's a few things I would be doing. I would be focusing on content on the site, and then focusing on linking to it from social media. So posting on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and then pinning content onto Pinterest, believe it or not, with pinnable images. And pinnable images are basically an image that has your text on it that relates to whatever that page is or whatever that information is. And then, you know, making sure that you're sharing lots of valuable information in there, you know, about education or that sort of thing. The other thing I would do is make sure that you're getting parents to share the links on their Facebook pages from the Facebook business page. Pinterest, more so than Facebook, tends to drive traffic, yes. It's not 100% more, but there are definitely cases where Pinterest does more. Seeing a lot of traffic coming from Pinterest in general. It's not a perfect estimate, but it does happen. Really, the more that you can get people to like, comment, and share the posts, the better the traffic will be, regardless of, you know, you can do, you know, do different things. Okay, I'm not sure what this is here. But you're going to see, it's really going to depend on where your parents are and where you're trying to get them to go to. Pinterest is really good because it's good as a searchable platform. It's a lot like a Google. So if you're trying to get people to find it through Google, that kind of thing, they're going to. But it just depends. And the other thing I would focus on is really good content on the website with good text and detailed text, more so than, you know, almost anything else. Good detailed descriptions of what you're doing goes a long way. And then sharing those pages and making sure that people see it over and over again. Depending on what you're trying to do with a blog, Kim, you don't really say what kind of a website it is, but if you have a blog, you can drive traffic using a blog. You can also share articles to a local newspaper and submit, you know, letters to the editor to a newspaper, that kind of thing. We have the Cary Citizen here, and they will allow us to submit local happening news in the area, and they will publish it as well. So that is probably another good way to get traffic onto your website as well. So there's a variety of different ways that you could get traffic onto a website. Twitter is hugely powerful and drives a lot of traffic as well. Pinterest does sometimes, you know, and honestly, I would say if you have your choice, just pick one platform. You don't have to be on every single platform all the time. I see a lot of traffic driven by Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter. And it kind of depends on the website. It depends on how you optimize pins, group pinning boards, etc., as to what exactly is on your content, what you're trying to get people to do, as to which one is the most effective and how. Does that help? Yeah. And the other thing too is choose one or two platforms and build that first before you focus on building more platforms. One platform at a time and getting really good at one platform is better than doing a lot of platforms and not doing them at all. Yeah. And if there's only two of you, I would be focusing on exactly one platform. And that might be Facebook. If that's the platform that you're the most comfortable with, focus on the one you're most comfortable with. Regardless of what I say is a platform that's likely to get you traffic, the one that's going to work is the one that you're going to use and be reliable about using. It doesn't matter if it's, any single social media platform. The social media platforms that work are the ones that you actually actively use, not just think that you have to do. That's why I suggest a lot of people don't blog. If you don't like to write and you don't particularly care to blog and it's something that's kind of painful for you, I'm not sure why you would do it. Because you end up having to put up a blog every week or every 2 weeks, and it can just get really painful if you're trying to put out all this content and it's just not there. And you're not feeling like writing. You're going to put it off. It's going to be the most painful thing in the world, and it's never going to get updated. And honestly, I would really rather see you contribute guest articles somewhere else than do a blog and have 3 articles on your blog. 3 guest blogs with 3 really good backlinks to your website, that might not be so bad, but 3 blogs on your total blog, not so good. So it just depends on your overall marketing strategy. And, I hate to say so much of it depends, but it really does depend on you, your charity, your nonprofit, whatever, and what exactly you're trying to do. So I hope that helps. If you have not yet signed up for my Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp class, I do recommend that everybody sign up for it. Check it out. Sign up for it. It is starting next Wednesday. Registration closes on Saturday night at midnight. So, get your registration in now while you can. And we're going to be doing 6 weeks of teaching marketing and how to get clients using low and no cost techniques that are effective in your business. And we're going to talk about things like how I built this Facebook group from 0 to 53,000 in under 2 years without spending money doing it. That's kind of the tricky part, is the without spending money doing it. I do a lot of my launches as low and no cost launches just to prove the point that it is possible to do it, and that it is possible to get really good marketing and PR and visibility for your business without spending a fortune doing it. I have done the route of doing a very high cost launch on another product, and honestly, it didn't get me anywhere. And when I backed off and I started following the basic fundamentals of marketing, guerrilla marketing, it's kind of funny. Things started working really well for me, and I started seeing a return, and I started teaching other people how to do the same thing. And it also worked very well for them. If a group class, a small group class, is not your style, then talk to me. I do one-on-one coaching as well, and I am accepting clients for one-on-one coaching. I currently have 2 spots open for one-on-one coaching, and I'm anticipating that they may be filled by the end of the month with current people that I'm already talking to. But if you haven't grabbed the spot, you don't have it until you've actually paid for the spot. And then I'm going to go on a wait list. But, really focusing on doing the fundamentals. The Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp is really cool because you get access to the course for life. So the next time I offer the class, you will get access to it yet again, and to all of the changes in marketing and social media, which is kind of cool because I learn new stuff every single day. Google changes its algorithm about 600 times a year. Yes, that's 600 times a year, guys. And think about all the new things that Facebook is doing with its ads, everything that Facebook is doing with groups and pages, and people ending up in Facebook jail. Did I mention that I ended up in Facebook jail the other night, and I'm not entirely sure why? So yeah, you end up learning a lot about social media, and it changes over time. And it's about building relationships with people and using it to build relationships with people and finding the most effective ways to do that and to market and sell your products. It's kind of funny. A lot of people will comment that they don't like to be in Facebook groups where they can't market and sell. And I actually kind of laugh, because for me, the most effective groups where I've gotten the most leads have been the ones where I don't actually promote. And the people who come to me as clients are people I don't even try to get as clients. And I don't even try to sell to you. They come to me. So think about that. Sometimes you have to go at things a little bit backwards in order to get them to work. Enter your questions below if you have any about marketing, guerrilla marketing, low cost techniques for sales and marketing, and think about it. Think what you would do, with your business, what you would want it to do, where do you want it to go, how do you want it to grow in the next 12 months? And start putting together a roadmap in order to make that achievable. I know that one of the things a lot of people talk about, here online is, oh yeah, I just started making, whatever a month. And, it's like they came out of nowhere. The reality is that there's a lot of foundation building, a lot of relationships that have to do with building relationships and building a foundation and a platform as you go. Karen, that is a good question. Love to hear an example of how you build relationships in groups. So my first tip for groups is limit the number of groups you're in. Find 3 to 5, maybe 10 groups that you're in, but really a handful of groups. 5-ish is a good number. Make a point of every day being able to do a post in every single group of some sort, and make it a post of value. So not just, hey, here's an inspirational meme or a quote, but ask a question, give a shout out to another member, do something that is kind of a little bit of out of the box thinking, post useful information, be relatable, be human, and then take 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes per group and go down and answer questions. Not just the, hey, put your Facebook page here posts, but actually be of service. You will be amazed at how quickly people start to remember you and how quickly people get to know you. If you just start answering people's questions honestly with something other than a, hey, come see me now. Oh, yeah, my company does that. Private message me for more info. If you give people an actual answer, it's kind of funny how quickly you will start building clients. It's just like if you're in a mom's group or something and, somebody's asking for a recommendation for a doctor. You don't say, oh, private message me for more information on that. You say, do this, go see this doctor here. I've had good luck with here. And, those are kind of how you start building relationships. So make sure that you are actually building honest relationships with people day in and day out. Why do I use Zoom now on Facebook Live? First of all, I don't have to use my cell phone while I'm doing it. Second of all, I have wonderful things like a mute button if I need it. I can also record to Zoom, and I can get both the MP4 and the audio files, which makes it really easy to upload it to YouTube. And I get the right aspect ratios. So it just is much easier. The other reason I'm using Zoom is because if I wanted to interview somebody or somebody wanted to hop on and join me, they could actually do that. I can actually give you the link to it and invite you on. So that would be kind of cool if somebody wanted to be interviewed or do something like that. And that's how I'm able to do the interviews with other people on Facebook Live. Mandy, yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I actually am on Facebook Live most evenings. Believe it or not, I've been doing Facebook Live most evenings since August of last year. there are a couple of nights a week where I may not be on, like sometimes I'm not on Saturday or Friday nights, but usually I'm on 5 or 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And it's usually around 9 to 10 o'clock at night. And it just depends on what the timing is with my kids and traveling and doing things like ending up working for McDonald's. As you guys have probably noticed, I'm actually at home tonight because my oldest daughter got an altered schedule this week due to a different work schedule. So it's spring break, so everybody's on a wonky schedule. So thank you so much, Karen. And you're welcome, Mandy. You know, it's kind of funny about being shy to post things. If you don't feel like posting things, just answer other people's questions. You don't have to be like a superstar as far as posting like all kinds of crazy stuff. But if you just answer people's questions, you can go a pretty long way. But, you know, if you are looking for ideas for social media, there is a really good article here. I actually just created one that's a little bit different than this, but this is a pretty good one. And it actually is 100 ideas for social media posts. Try that out and see how it works for you. Because what I found was that, you know, having the right ideas for social media posts was super, super helpful. And you'll notice that none of it there is, only one of those is promote yourself. Almost everything else is fill in the blank, ask trivia questions, pose interesting ideas, build a top 10 list, do a lot of different things, and share your expertise with the world. It almost doesn't matter what your business is. If you show off your expertise and some personality, people are going to love you for it. You know, and almost no matter what your business is, I'm sure you have expertise. You know, because if you're talking about skincare, you have, you know, a certain level of expertise. If you have, you know, it just almost doesn't matter. And my kids are trying to kill each other in the background right now. I'm not really sure what's going on.
No,
so
she didn't. She let the cat into my room.
Which cat?
Osiris.
Oh, and what was Osiris doing in your room?
Lauren let him into my room.
Oh no.
Now he's gonna step on me.
And now he's going to step on you, and now he's going to sleep on you? We have 4 cats. Apparently, one of my daughters let one of the cats into my other daughter's room. That is Zena. So they are lots of fun. You just want a dog. And when exactly do you think you're going to take care of a dog?
I don't know.
Okay. Case in point. So when you start talking about, you know, guerrilla marketing or marketing in general on Facebook, just interact with people. Lurking in the background is not helping your business. I will say, oh, you're welcome. You know, what's really nice tonight, Karen, is that I don't have a Nerf gun being taken to the back of my head right now, which is really nice. Yesterday, when I did Facebook Live with Leslie Flowers, I had a Nerf gun aimed at me most of the time by 1 or 2 of the kids. So I was kind of like in the crossfire for most of the time that I was doing Facebook Live. So it was kind of doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And gracias, Mandy. Mi casa es su casa también. You know, think about, you know, building those relationships online. And that's part of why I do Facebook Live, so you guys can see that I'm a real person, and I really do have 4 kids. And it is really kind of crazy around here. Like, I have the teenager walking around in the kitchen with the phone and kids trying to kill each other. And this is the life of being an entrepreneur and trying to work from home. I'm sure that 99% of the people in this group probably relate to trying to work from home with kids doing things, and trying to focus while you've got a kid hanging off of you or taking a shot at you or, whatever. Mine, I just have 2 or 3 that don't mind being seen on Facebook Live. I have one that will kind of refuse to be seen on Facebook Live. You'll never see my husband, even though that's my kitchen behind me. He kind of manages to be invisible while I'm doing Facebook Live. It's kind of funny. Oh, there's Tiki. So yes, it's lots of fun when you have cats, dogs, humans. But that's part of, being a real business coach too, is talking about the real side of being a business owner. Not that I don't deal with operations and looking at, whether you have incorporated and what your sales and marketing strategy is and what your customer onboarding process is. And do you have a customer re-engagement strategy? Because if you don't, you need to have one. And if you don't know what that is, we should talk. There are certain things like customer re-engagement and those sorts of deals that you really need to have a plan in place for. Customer re-engagement, newsletters, yeah. And upsells, downsells, cross-sells, anybody? Bueller out there? Those are kind of important things to work on in your business. And those are kind of some of the things that I'm teaching in the Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp, although the Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp is really focused at figuring out who your ideal client is and then where the heck to find them in a way that is budget friendly. So what other questions can I answer for y'all? If you guys haven't seen my blog, you should check it out. I put resources up there. I put a ton of resources out there. Last week, I wrote an article on lessons learned while building this Facebook group. So, a lot of people ask me, well, how did you build this Facebook group? And I'm like, well, first of all, read the ebook and then answer the blog, or read the blog and then ask me your questions. But we will cover building a Facebook group in Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp, because that's one of the things I focus on with people is both growth and, oh, come on, do a headstand or something more interesting. Oh, come on, that's not even interesting. Flying sidekick. No? No flying sidekicks, no flips. That one likes to flip. I know, right, Kim? I mean, for all of the things that child could have done, she just sits there and goes. So for those of you that don't know, that one does tricking and she does a lot of flippy stuff. So, for her to sit there and do that is kind of lame. At some point I'll post a video of her doing stuff in here, but I share videos sometimes to my personal page of her doing all kinds of crazy flippy stuff in martial arts and fighting. If you Google Xena Gray, you'll find her video of her sparring somebody on stage about 2 years ago. Anywho, what other questions do you all have for me about marketing and sales and building businesses, driving traffic, growing your nonprofit? One of the things I've been doing a lot of work is nonprofit work lately. So I've been donating about 20 to 25% of my time to nonprofits. I'm doing a couple of major fundraisers this year, and I'm on the board of directors for one nonprofit and looking to see about joining another board or two. So that is becoming part of my focus as well, is donating 20 to 25% of my time as an expert for nonprofits, because I know that is a very needed skill. But that also means that I can help other people with their nonprofits because, well, I will have more expertise there. So Kim, if you want to talk about nonprofit stuff, yeah, we can talk. Beatrice, so you know nothing about marketing, that you don't even know what to ask. So if I said, if I could boil marketing down to one thing, yeah, and I can help you, and I can coach you one-on-one, or you can do a class. And the class registration is ending Saturday, but it's got a payment plan. It's an awesome class. So marketing is basically getting somebody to the point of being in front of you, and you're ready to have that discussion about, are you willing to buy from me? Okay, so marketing is that whole thing of figuring out who that customer is, where they are out there, and kind of, siphoning through the world, figuring out where that person hides, whether it's online or offline. And I actually have a real skill for finding people online as well, and bringing them together and bringing them to the point of being in front of you. Sales is the point where you ask them, hey, would you like to buy? So, would you like to buy a box of Girl Scout cookies, right? Or would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? So, when we start talking about marketing, the most important thing is knowing who you're marketing to and what their likes, their dislikes, who that person is, finding them, and building a relationship with them. Because chances are you're not going to take somebody from 0 to would you like to get married in 0.3 seconds. And if you ask somebody to marry you in the first 0.3 seconds, chances are you're going to get slapped and knocked back into the last century somewhere. So the idea here is that marketing is a process of building relationships with your prospects. And you can call it a sales funnel, you can call it any of a number of things. And it can take on a lot of different forms. You can do it very expensively with radio and TV ads. You can do it really inexpensively just by talking to people. And you can do it through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, blah, 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 blah. So you can get in front of people a lot of different ways. You can do it with paid ads. You can do it with organic reach. And the choices are absolutely overwhelming. What I try to encourage people to do is to focus on the basics, choose one platform at a time, and learn that platform. So if it's your Instagram, pay attention to Instagram. If it's your Pinterest, pay attention to Pinterest. If it's Facebook, pay attention to Facebook. And then decide and start to learn the difference and the subtleties and the nuances of each platform. So LinkedIn or, Facebook, and when are you going to use a Facebook group versus a Facebook page? And focusing on getting people's attention in a natural, normal way that is going to lead down the path towards getting a sale. So, and I know that this is like little teeny tiny baby steps, but at that point at which you start, leading down that path towards getting a sale, you're really building an impression in people's minds and building relationships with people, because all things being equal, people buy from those they know, like, and trust, and they have a relationship with. So if you have a relationship with somebody and they feel that they have a relationship with you, they're much more likely to buy from you. So why not focus on building relationships with people? So when I talk about marketing and getting clients out of a Facebook group, well, there's a few things you're going to do. You're going to answer people's questions. You're going to build a relationship with them. And the next thing you know, you're probably going to send them a Facebook friend request to continue the discussion. But you're not, dear God, for the love of all that's holy, going to immediately send that person, as soon as they accept your friend request, hey, would you like to join my blanking business? Or would you like to buy from me? Because that's not how it works, right? And as soon as somebody accepts your friend request and you send that message, you're you're done. People are going to report you and block you to Facebook. So you have to follow down a natural progression of answer questions, be of service, be a real human, because the other person on the other side is also a real human, and bring yourself together with them and build a relationship with them. And the more you can focus on getting people's attention and raising their curiosity about who you are and what you do and how you do it, that's really cool. And so that's kind of what I do as being a business coach and doing sales and marketing strategy, because I talk about a lot of free stuff on Facebook Live, even if you guys don't always see me here. And I do Facebook Live day in, day out, and I'm consistent about it. And some people tell me that they go to bed to me doing Facebook Live every night. And, you know, people start to have a relationship with you, and then they eventually buy from you. And, you know, you can imagine that if I'm going to give you really good information for free, then I'm going to give you even better information if you're paying me and I have time to sit down with you and actually focus on answering your questions. Does that help just a little bit, Beatrice? And I know that that's like an incredibly long-winded answer to your question. But, you know, so know that it is not about, you know, the quick thing. If I could say, you know, focusing on one thing, know who you're going for, and then start building relationships with them, even if it's one person at a time. You don't need 1,000 people in your client base for most of us. You just need the right people. You need the right handful of people, maybe 100 customers tops. You know, people are like, oh my God, you know, you've got this massive Facebook group, da, 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 da. And honestly, I never intended to build a Facebook group that was this big. It just happened kind of on its own. And it's kind of gone viral, but it's really cool. But, you know, it is about trying to build a relationship with as many people in the group as I possibly can. And then hopping on the phone with people and talking to people and just trying to be a real, genuine, caring human being, operating a business that happens to be somewhat in the online world, or, you know, part of it is in the online world, part of it's in the offline world. So Kim, you're starting small. You hope to grow the nonprofit public school stuff because it's so important to you. Yeah, exactly. You know, and it takes time to grow things. It's worth remembering that it has taken me 2 years from the time that I actually started trying to build this group. I started it in May of 2015. So we're April. So we're at 23 months. It doesn't happen overnight. And I can tell you that honestly, like, even if you start building a Facebook group, some people think that they're going to start getting business out of it immediately, blah, 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 blah. Why aren't people buying from me? Oh my God, it must be your mindset. You know, the reality is it takes time to build relationships with people. And, you know, you don't start building your marketing and people just immediately start buying from you the next day. It's like you don't post on Facebook 3 times and then suddenly you've got 3,000 likes on your page. It's a slow process. It grows over time. And each little brick, you know, builds on the other. It's like, you know, little bitty, infinitely thin layers, one on top of another, on top of another. And it can be kind of like watching paint dry. Absolutely. I mean, it feels a lot of days like you're watching paint dry, which is why monitoring your numbers and measuring your numbers is so important so that you can actually see the growth and chart it and see that you are actually indeed making forward progress. And honestly, even with a nonprofit, it's going to look a lot like this. You know, you're going to get that roller coaster effect, and there will be times that are good and times that are not so good, and increases and decreases. And, you know, one week things will go great, and the next week you're going to just completely misfire. It is what it is. And if you come to expect it as just part of the journey, and, you know, it's part of the roller coaster with being an entrepreneur, or a nonprofit, you know, person, you know, anybody running an organization, it gets much easier if you kind of go, okay, this is part of the ride, you know, just put on your seatbelt and just keep going. You know, maybe a crash helmet too, but it's all good. School board elections are coming up, so hoping to make an impact in 2018. Yeah, I know a lot of people are hoping to make an impact in 2018 on school boards and so many things. I know here in Wake County, we have a lot of people really upset with the way that the schools are going and the direction that things have been going and the drop off in the, a lot of scores and how well kids are doing and a lot of things too. I mean, there's just been a lot of upheaval in our schools as well. My kids are no longer in Wake County Public Schools as a result of some of the issues that we're having, the massive increases in class sizes and kids just basically getting dropped, through the cracks. And bullying issues and all that kind of good stuff. So I understand. I wish that the public schools were as good as they were 10 or 12 years ago. But unfortunately they're not right now. And I think that the school board is going to see a tremendous amount of upheaval in this next election. They've seen a lot of upheaval the last couple of times because people are just not happy. Anywho, what other questions can I answer for y'all? If you are wanting to know how to drive traffic to your website, if you're wanting to know how to grow business and find clients, this is the class you want to take. The Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp class. And registration ends on Saturday night. And there is a payment plan available for it. It's either $395 or 4 payments of $99. It's actually pretty much a bargain. 6 weeks of instruction. We have weekly classes that are via Zoom, and they will be recorded, and you'll get access to the recordings, obviously. And then you will get a live weekly Q&A session and a Facebook group that is dedicated to answering your questions. The other cool thing is that you get access to the course for the life of the course. So the next time I teach it, you're going to get access to it. Register if you're interested in it. It's going to be an awesome class. People that took it last time learned a lot, and they're back in the class again this time because you have lifetime access to it. And I want you to learn everything you can. Also, the cool thing is that if you complete all of the classes, and you can tell me what the code word is for each class, you get a free 1-hour coaching session with me, which is a $300 value. So it makes it a heck of a bargain. And you get me answering your questions in the group all the time. So sign up if you haven't, please. What other questions can I answer for y'all about guerrilla marketing in general, or marketing, or any of that good stuff? And in case people are wondering what my qualifications are to teach, I have an MBA from Duke, which is one of the top business schools in the world. It's in the top 10, and I have a concentration in entrepreneurship and innovation. I also go back and I mentor and teach some of the classes and help. I assist. I don't actually teach the classes. I'm just mentoring students in the classes. But I do quite a bit of teaching, and it's a lot of fun. So, anywho, let me know what you would like and how I can help you if you have questions about the Guerrilla Marketing Bootcamp class, or if you would like to know if it's a fit for you. I'll be happy to answer your question because it may not be a fit for everybody, and I recognize that, and I want to help you figure out what the right fit is. Anywho, it is 46 minutes or 48 minutes since I have been online, which is like a really long time. And I still have a battle with Tailwind coming up tonight while I am trying to set up some stuff on Pinterest and Tailwind. So I hope that you have a fabulous rest of your evening and get some rest. I know that tomorrow I'm going to be having a good morning, and take care and sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. I will talk to you all later.